You just answered why AI won't take over anytime soon. Again, there's so much happening so quickly. Things rapidly change overnight. What we are seeing is a shift of seasonality. That is definitely one of the biggest trends in our destination. So we cover Greece, Italy, Switzerland, Croatia, and all of the Balkans. We cover France, Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Turkey, and Egypt. This is Western Europe and the Mediterranean. The one thing that has definitely changed is high season. It's no longer July and August, definitely. This is due to climate change, but we are on the ground and we are seeing how our seasons have changed. Summers have become a lot hotter. They are a lot more humid. And this is not the time where you want to travel, at least not when you're coming from far away. New seasons are May and June, new high seasons. And the new high season is September and October.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Reframe First, the podcast where we have honest conversations with business leaders about industry trends, about challenges, about the bets they are making, and so on. So I'm Oleksij, I'm the first, and let me welcome today our today's guest, Danielle Rudic, VP of Marketing and Product at Travelive. Hi Danielle, it's really great having you here.
Thank you so much, Oleksij, for giving us the opportunity to exchange a few ideas and to say a few words about us.
Yeah, so Travelive is actually our first DMC that we are talking with, DMC being Destination Management Company. So Travelive basically is a collection of trusted destination management companies across like about 10, right?
10 destinations.
Yeah, Mediterranean destinations. So Danielle, maybe could you tell us like what you do at Travelive, what your role is, what the mission of the company is, like more about it.
So when we had our initial conversations, when you invited us to come in and to share our thoughts on where travel is and tourism is right now, you were very honest and you said that you were mostly talking to either tech companies or platforms. So the platforms that expire, that aggregate, transact, and we as a DMC, and I'm so happy to be the first ones on your roster, we are on the other side of the equation, to say so. We are the ones that execute the services on the ground. And so the helping hands, or little Santas, elves and helpers in the shop, we're the ones that put an itinerary together and also make sure that it's flawlessly executed on the ground, that every service that your client has asked for is delivered the way that it was presented to the client. So that would be something that a destination management company does. We work with travel advisors, so we don't work with general public. We're the ones that help advisors with our local knowledge and with the expertise of the team that we have. Destination management companies usually specialize in one or two destinations that are natural partners. So let's say Spain and Portugal, Croatia, Slovenia, Montenegro. So something that logistically and geographically makes sense together. But just like tech companies that were always trying to be disruptors and change the landscape, we decided to do the same thing when it comes to destination management companies. And just a side note, anybody that is in tourism and doesn't specifically know of the term destination management company, some consortia and industry leaders also call it an on-site or destination specialist. So anybody that is focused on delivering actual on-the-ground services and expertise in a country is going to be a DMC or something similar. Now to the disrupting part.
Yeah.
We started in Greece in 2001 because our group president and founder, Greek American from Kansas City, she used to be a travel advisor. And she started this whole story as somebody that was trying to put together itineraries for American, Canadian, Australian clients on the other side of the world. And these were the 90s. So if you roll the film back and remember how much could we do with internet back in the 90s? Could you check availability online?
Yeah.
How long did it take to get a response to an email? Because even emails were not a part of that everyday culture where you were checking them on your phone and every waking minute of your day. And for somebody that lived in the US, sold the Mediterranean with the time difference, this was an insurmountable challenge. She did not sleep. She spent her nights on the phone trying to call everybody. In order to bridge this, she decided to move her family from Kansas City to Athens in Greece for a sole purpose of being close to the product, to be able to, hop in the car, go and check a hotel, talk to a guide, talk to a driver to see their level of English, how well they know the destination. But the second she did that, every single advisor she ever met in the US started calling her and asking, hey, we heard you were in Greece. Can you help with our clients as well? So that whole idea that she was going to open a very small boutique B2C company to help her clients very quickly kind of got a life of its own. And it turned into that first DMC that we opened in Greece, where the mission and the idea was to really give the very best of the country where we are to a travel advisor and the end client that is coming to the destination. But then again, I blame travel advisors for everything that we have done. They then started asking for extensions. It's like, yeah, I have a honeymoon couple that's going to Greece, but can you add 5 nights in Italy, 5 nights in Spain, in Portugal, in Croatia? I mean, you're there. It's around the corner. It's going to be easy for you. And the more they started asking for a specific destination, this is where the disruptor part comes in. Instead of just subcontracting an existing DMC in that second country, we decided to go in and build our own team there from the ground up, emulating or copying exactly how we did things in Greece. So in 2000,
we have 10 teams right now from
so
what
that's how exactly over 25 years, we kept going into destination by destination, building our own teams, and ended up with 10. The reason being is we really wanted to make sure that no matter where we are, we have the same level of service, that we could stand behind the product that we were offering. And over time, it ingrained itself into our sustainability mission as well. We discussed this, if you remember, when we were preparing for the interview, whether sustainability plays a role in what it is that we do. And if we think about it, our clients from where they are, because we work with the Americas, we work with Australia, the first thing they need to do in order to visit our destinations is hop on a plane. Is that really sustainable or ecologically sound? Not really. We really can't help that. We rely on the air companies and their attempts and efforts to minimize their carbon footprint. But what we've decided to do instead is ensure that at least when it comes to finances, when it comes to money, when it comes to development, that we work with small mom and pop companies that are in every city, in every little village that we do cover, so that their income, the earnings, is not spread across the big players. Instead, it stays within the community and it helps the community develop further. Another part of that kind of disruption.
Yeah, with regards to the companies, like you mentioned, like you're planning some itineraries and you're working with small local companies, but like what product do you offer? What's that? Is it like stay? Is it some excursions? Is it like cruise ships? What's the total package?
So the total package, this depends from DMC to DMC. So some DMCs will only do all or nothing. So they will take care of absolutely everything for your client if you are a travel advisor, or for you if you are a client, from the moment you set foot into a country, so the moment you land, until you get on the plane to go back home. So this is going to be from transfers from your airport to the hotel, all of your hotels, all of your tours, all of your transport from one destination to another, whether it's going to be train or rail if you are, let's say, in Italy, Switzerland, or Spain, or a destination that does offer fantastic rail connections, ferries if you are in Greece, any kind of domestic flights or intra-Europe flights. So it's really every single element within every itinerary or during your trip that you need. With us, that's our bread and butter, like with every other DMC. So this is mostly what we do. But we also offer snippets, so little pieces, because what advisors are finding these days, they're finding it difficult to piece together an itinerary if they've already have the hotels. A lot of clients are using points. A lot of clients, let's say they belong to an airline loyalty program and they want to, keep their medallion or their level. So they're using the airline to book the hotels. So why kind of cast those out? We actually will do land only, or just a couple of tours and transfers. Or with the booming cruise industry, another opportunity opened up there. A lot of clients want to combine the cruise and land. So they want to spend a couple of days before they go on a cruise ship in a destination, or they want to extend their cruise stay again with a couple of days on land in their endpoint. So this is also something that we can provide and help with. Again, whether they just need a couple of tours and transfers, or if they need a hotel and all of the services during pre and post. And another thing that advisors are very happy about, and this is in no way, shape, or form criticism to cruise companies, but what we have noticed is that advisors and clients want their shore experiences, so the experiences on land that they have when they touch into a port, to be curated for them. They want something bespoke, something that is built based on their passions and interests, and not just taken off the shelf because the cruise line is offering it. So this is another thing that we are developing very quickly and very strongly. It is a whole line of bespoke experiences in all of the destinations where we are, whether it's for ocean cruises or river cruises. And advisors love it because those experiences are actually commissionable. Whatever is offered by the cruise ship, they don't get commission on it. So their hard work sometimes does get unrecognized. We are just making sure that we do support the advisors every single step of the way and reward them for their work and for bringing their client to us.
Okay, and advisors, are they employed by a company, or are they like third-party advisors that are using services provided by your DMCs?
So when it comes to our landscape, so where we offer our services, travel advisors are usually either a part of a bigger travel agency, or they are a part of a host agency that then supports several travel agencies underneath. And one way or another, either in the second tier or third tier, they belong to one of the luxury consortia, which is either Signature or Virtuoso, Internova, Ensemble, where you will find anything from 10,000 to 100,000 travel advisors that are in one way or another connected to those big consortia. And these consortia play a very, very big role, not just in getting travel advisors in touch or in contact with suppliers like us, but they also provide a very valuable network when it comes to travel advisor education, providing them with marketing opportunities, and really making their day-to-day operations a lot easier. So they're not a lone island in this huge sea of the travel industry. They do have this very, very big support of an established network.
But who is like building this packaged offer for the client, like for the end client? Because if you're providing like some luxury travel options, like each client is individual, right? Because client wants.
Exactly.
Who builds the package? Is it you, or like your companies, or is it advisor? And the second part is like, who is guiding that client? Because like luxury travel requires 20 quite likely.
So this is a really good question. And I don't think even the general public is aware of the difference. How does all of this happen? Travel advisor, I would like to stress this term advisor. Advisor is not a travel agent. And we will talk about that later. So
Yeah.
travel advisors, they sell the world. They can't know every corner, every nook and cranny of every part of our beautiful planet. Their job is to connect themselves with local partners that will be able to support them in delivering exceptional services. What advisors do is they are out there, they're expanding their network of clients who come to a travel advisor asking for advice. So a client will come to a travel advisor and say, hey, I want to go to Italy in, let's say, September this year. This is my budget. These are my passions and interests. This is what I'm really interested in doing. This is what I don't want to do because it's just not within what I'm interested in. And then the advisor will come to us and they will send us what we call a brief. They will send us all the details about the client, what they want, how long they want to stay, what their preferences are, whether it's 4-star or 5-star. And then we kind of roll up our sleeves and we get to work and we will build that itinerary that will go to a travel advisor white labeled. So it's just going to have their name and their logo on it. And the advisor then sends this to his client and they will go through it point by point, either alone or we will hop on the call with the advisor and their client to be able to clarify any kind of questions if they come up or any details that an advisor, again, because they're not in destination, might not know. So this is that kind of pyramid. The advisor is there to get the request from a client. They send the request to us. We build it based on what was in that brief or an instruction manual. And then it's about fine tuning the details until we get it perfect for that client to book it, to pay for it, and then finally to travel in a destination.
Yeah, I see. And who is guiding the client later? Like when client arrived to Greece, who
So
is
when
working?
So when clients arrive to Greece, it is our job to take over. So we have that 24/7 support. Anything that comes up during travel, whether they want to add an experience, because usually they start with, we don't want a lot of hand holding, we want a lot of free time, but then they get to a destination and they want everything. We forgot a boat trip. Oh, we forgot a cooking class. So there's always somebody there 24/7 at their beck and call. They can call, they can WhatsApp, they can iMessage us if they want to, and they do have a dedicated person that is hand-holding them throughout their entire stay. Agent, on the other hand, remember, we're working with the other side of the world. It's usually 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. The agent won't be able to assist. First of all, they're not in destination. They don't know the ground operations to be able to respond quickly. And that is the responsibility of the DMC to have that 24/7 customer support so that the advisor can have their 8-hour night sleep and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, I understand. That's interesting combination, like of travel advisor, of DMC, like support person, and the client. This triangle. With regards to like making this trip possible for the client, like making the itinerary. You mentioned like cooking classes, whatever. So it's quite granular, I would say. How much effort does it take to build this? To build it, to cook it for end
For
customer?
all of the ingredients that are necessary to cook up an itinerary.
Yeah,
Exactly. You have to go all the way back into building a DMC. So the first responsibility is to actually know and to contact and to have great relationships with partners that are delivering these services. So the first thing is local knowledge. You need to know what is available. You need to also know these people by name, you need to know their families. You need to test this particular service to know whether it's the level that your clients are expecting. So this is the first step. that local knowledge, local presence to be able to even have it in your cookbook. The second step is, what is missing? Is there a particular experience that you as a local know might work, but it just doesn't exist yet? So it's again talking to those local suppliers and creating the experiences that are not on the map yet. So that's step 2. Step 3 is training, retraining your staff and your travel planners so that they are always aware of what is available within every country. Because your clients, let's say they want a boat tour, but they are not very sea-bearing people. They don't have their sea legs. I want to do island hopping, but you know what? I get very seasick. So even with this, it's knowledge of what kind of boat are you using for that particular boat trip that you want to do. Is it wide enough? Is it tall enough? Does it have a lot of sea splash? Are they going to feel every single wave along the way, or are they going to have a really comfortable ride? Oh, this is an 8-hour day trip on the boat. Do you think it's a little bit too much for them, considering that, they can't really handle the sea that well? Is it too far? Is it too much of an open sea? So it's not just about knowing what's out there, but really knowing the details of every single tour, what every step is going to look like, and if it fits the client that is going to be out there. So this also is the difference, again, between a travel agent and a travel advisor. An agent might just look at, I don't know, Get Your Guide, Viator. Again, nothing against these platforms. They're amazing, but they don't give you enough information on what are you exactly going to experience.
On this
And instead of
details.
advising, and what happens to you as a travel advisor, you're not advising, you're just selling. And that's the difference between a travel agent and a travel advisor. We really need to be there, everybody that's in the luxury travel segment, to advise and guide the client, because the clients don't know what they don't know, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
might look perfectly fine. And I love it when advisors come to us and say, my clients want to do this because their best friends did it, or their neighbors did it, or somebody in their family did it. But then you read the itinerary that that other person did, and you read the passions and interests and the do not do's of this person that's about to travel, and you see that they don't align. This one had a lot of cooking classes or wine tours, and this particular client has a lot of food sensitivities, or they don't drink. So will you offer the same tours, or will you turn on your advisor cap and start advising and giving advice on what kind of services will fit them based on what it is that they love and like to do?
It sounds to me like a lot of really like manual labor and a lot of like getting deep into details and knowing these details. Like I have quite some experience with online travel agencies, and what they're trying to do is to integrate and automate as much as possible. Like the more they integrate with other third-party providers, the more they can like package together. Like this is their bread and butter. And but on the other hand, from if looking from the other side from of the coins, from the flip of the coin, destination management companies need to know in detail every single piece of the trip. I wonder what can be automated, or if there is room for automation, because it sounds like
I
a lot
mean
of.
that, yeah, it is it is always going to be quite manual, because nothing replaces human knowledge and the actual fact that you are on the ground, and the fact that you have tested this and you can stand behind the product. But what can be automated is, the day-to-day processes. We can automate our efficiency. We can use AI tools or any kind of digital tools to help our research, our internal processes, support. We have even built our own proprietary IT system to be able to handle the way that we work, because we could not find anything on the market that supported all of our departments, all of our little internal systems and processes. Again, because we did disrupt the DMC market, because it wasn't just about building itineraries within one destination. It is now building itineraries on the same level in 10 destinations with cross coordination between local teams, because we do a lot of country combination itineraries. This is one of the biggest emerging trends that we're not seeing it go away anytime soon. So from an advisor perspective, if they were to put together an itinerary to flow seamlessly across 4 countries, usually they need to work with 4 different partners. This is a lot of email noise, a lot of, oh my God, who did I ask about this? From the client perspective, it's Wednesday. Which country am I in? Which customer support number am I calling today based on where I am? So what we did is we have 10 teams that all work within the same system using the same processes, same formula, same IT system, so that everything is seamless and streamlined. And this is where that automation comes in. It's about working smarter, not harder, but still having that final human element that cannot be replaced, no matter how advanced AI becomes. We also discussed this when we were preparing, just for some background.
Yeah,
Is
sure.
AI going to make travel advisors obsolete, or the need for a DMC? Because there is I mean, of course, you've all tried it. You gave it prompts. You wanted to get an itinerary, let's say for your Spain, Morocco, and Portugal trip. You tell it you have 14 days, how much you want to spend, what you kind of like. But what AI doesn't understand is logistics. And this is where you as a travel advisor are always going to be needed. And this is where that ground crew and local knowledge is always going to be needed. It's the cultural nuances that AI cannot understand, the routing, the pacing, crisis response. So we can automate processes, but we cannot automate that final human element that will always be needed and necessary for travel to be immersive and to have the emotion that you want it to have at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, cannot, is not capable right now to do all of that. Like if digging
I
into
love
certain,
that right now. I love that you say right now.
yeah, that's the truth.
Uh,
That's the truth right now. It's not capable. It's capable to
Travel,
dig into certain detail, like deep into certain detail, but provide all the details that you mentioned, like itineraries, like working hours, human touch, and then there is like all these national barriers and so on and so forth. It just can't handle all of that altogether.
you also have to remember the same way AI is changing. It's getting better. It's getting more automated. It is learning, because this is basically what AI does. It is continuously learning. Travel industry is changing almost as fast as AI is. New things are coming up. Trends are shifting. Seasonalities change. So there's always going to be, again, the need for that human element, if for nothing else, to feed the AI with the necessary elements for it to be able to learn and to grow. It's helped tremendously in raising interest for travel, because people can go online, they can research, they can find new ideas. But what is still going to be needed when it comes down to that human element is relying on our knowledge, relying on that support on the ground, because it has not improved. AI has not improved the feasibility of travel. And unless you've been to a destination, you don't know that whatever AI has suggested for you includes a 10-hour car ride without any stops, or it is not taking you to the closest airport. It is taking you hours away. And anybody that wants to, challenge me on this, they can, but I still maintain that firm stance that human element, it'll take decades for it to be completely erased and taken out of the equation, because people need to rely on us that are there to be
Yeah, yeah.
100% sure. The
You
trust
cannot.
is not there.
Yeah, you cannot remove like human from the equation, because like what AI agent basically needs information and tools. And there should be somebody who is feeding that information and somebody who is providing the like end tools. And then probably some certain point of time, AI agent can start like recommending, do like good enough recommendation, but still it needs information and tools. And this is like the human in the loop who should be able to provide that. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
I mean, one element to kind of give you a very, very specific example that is so easy to understand for anybody, even if you're not very tech savvy. What we are seeing right now is we do get a lot of requests with attached pictures, photos of destinations that do not exist. This is what is happening with AI. And again, this is where that human element comes in. We have requests, and I wish that it wasn't happening as often that it's happening. Instead, it's happening more often than we would like to admit. We do get a brief or a request from an advisor that came from a client originally, and they will say, our client wants to stay in this hotel. And then you see an AI generated photo from Santorini, which you, as somebody that is on the island or in Greece, knows that doesn't exist. It was AI generated. The same thing, a cave restaurant in Italy that does exist, kind of, not in that scale, and definitely not in the location that the clients are saying that it exists. So this is another little element that we now have to fight that we didn't have to fight a couple of years ago. It is, again, not about just saying, listen, guys, this is fake. It is about educating the clients and advisors on what to look out for so that they can distinguish whether something is AI generated or it really exists. The lines are being blurred more and more every day. Again, AI is scaling inspiration. It is driving that inspiration through the roof because everything is so easily accessible. But what it really doesn't scale is as execution in the end.
Yeah, sure. Let's dive out of AI and automation. Like from what from what we all see is like market has changed a lot like in recent years. First, like is post COVID, like travel became a necessity, but on the other hand, there is like Gen Z, which has like different expectation of travel, of experiences, and the way you approach them, like omni-channel experiences, and so that's kind of stuff. The world did change.
It keeps it interesting.
Yeah, and then there is AI, which is adding like uncertainty to the equation. So there is like a lot happening. How does it affect you, and what major trends do you see that are affecting DMCs?
So I think with everything that you just put in that question, you just answered why AI won't take over anytime soon. Again, there's so much happening so quickly. Things rapidly change overnight. And for us as a DMC, so the end executors of all of the services and the ones that are actually on the ground, it means our life is never boring. So that's definitely one thing. We always kind of have to keep one ear on the ground and a finger on the pulse to make sure that we're always up on all of the trends and the changing needs. What we are seeing is a shift of seasonality. That is definitely one of the biggest trends in our destination. So we cover Greece, Italy, Switzerland, Croatia, and all of the Balkans. We cover France, Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Turkey, and Egypt. This is Western Europe and the Mediterranean. The one thing that has definitely changed is high season. It's no longer July and August, definitely. This is due to climate change, but we are on the ground and we are seeing how our seasons have changed. Summers have become a lot hotter. They are a lot more humid. And this is not the time where you want to travel, at least not when you're coming from a far away. New seasons are May and June, new high seasons, and the new high season is September and October. And we had to shift to kind of meet this demand. Europeans still travel in the traditional months when we used to travel because this is when we get our time off. So there's always going to be travel and tourism in July, in August, just not long haul travel. Is it safe to travel? Do we need to change our routes? How far is the destination where we are traveling to the area that is currently under any kind of political conflict. So this is now also a part of the daily job of any DMC, but also of any travel advisor. Again, if we think to the pre-COVID times, it would come up for specific areas and regions, but it would not have been an essential part of an everyday conversation. Another trend that we are seeing is slower travel, more rail being included, longer travel, and country combinations. I did mention it earlier, but we really are seeing it as a huge trend. America, Canada, Australia, because of the distance and also because of the time off that they do get during the year, they do want to get as much as they can out of the time that they are going to spend within a continent. And Europe being so well connected and the entire Mediterranean also means that now they want to add at least two, maybe three, sometimes even four countries within their two-week trip or a 20-day trip. And having the logistics, having the knowledge, and having the IT support to be able to do it and deliver it very quickly and bring it back to the advisor is something that is going to kind of keep you top of mind of everybody when they are thinking about who to reach out to and who to talk to about building an itinerary like this.
Okay. And which of these trends are like the biggest threat for you?
I
What would you
wouldn't
say?
call them a threat or any of them. What I would say is that they present challenges. One of the biggest challenges, especially when it comes to the Mediterranean, is the seasonality shift and the climate change. And this is something that has to be addressed on a much higher scale. So this is not just a challenge for a DMC. This is a challenge for everybody that is involved within the travel industry of that particular country. We all have product that is beautiful and available throughout the year. Most of the destinations are year-round destinations. However, we have not taken the time or invested enough money to develop those regions or areas that are able to take over during former lower seasons and really put your country on the map to be there as the perfect destination in February, in March. 15 years ago, when it comes to Greece or Croatia, I would really not have seen many requests to travel to these countries in February or March or November or December, but they're coming in. And we are, I'm not going to say light years ahead, but years ahead already when it comes to the product that we can offer you in those destinations in off-season months, because we saw the trend coming. We went in, we talked to the local suppliers, we developed the product to support this, but we still, not just us, but the industry in general, needs the support of hotels, let's say, in this particular instance, of ferry companies, of airlines, to be able to keep that connectivity so that we can deliver services 12 months a year. Hotels, a lot of them, most of them are seasonal because they don't still see the ROI in keeping their properties open longer. But this is where we now need synergy of all the elements involved in the travel industry of a country to sit down, talk about what can be developed, how we can support that development so that it does become an item that it's on the shelf 12 months a year.
Yeah, yeah. And with regards, you mentioned about hotels, and like quite a lot of travelers are just like going to Booking.com or whatever, or Airbnb, just booking hotel, coming to a country, and then start looking around. Like you're offering quite a different like package deal. And if talking about like percentages, how do you compare? Like how many travelers are traveling one way versus another, and what's the like opportunity to switch them like these package deals?
So when we say package deals, there's kind of two ways of looking at it. We will create a package from start as a DMC. On the other hand, you have tour operators that already have pre-packaged deals and kind of put them on the shelf for you to take over. When we talk about clients that first book the hotels and then everything else, this is different type of travel. We are in the relaxed luxury to ultra luxe. segment, and that means 4-star all the way up to ultra luxe, exclusive access, private planes, helicopters. And within this segment, even the 4-star clients want kind of key in hand solution. They don't want to worry about anything, whether that room that I wanted is really going to be facing, west, or is it going to have full sea view? Is it going to have an old town view? They want somebody else to already confirm and book exactly what they had in their mind. In most cases, if you're doing this using a platform, if you're doing this using Airbnb or Booking.com, it's not going to tell you that in order to get to your apartment, you have to climb 7 flights of stairs because you saw that it is in Old Town Dubrovnik, but you didn't realize that it was on the 5th level climbing towards the wall. And you're there with your 2 suitcases because God knows
And
we
kids,
always
yeah.
overpack, trying to get up this really narrow flight of stairs. So what was missing in that equation is local knowledge and somebody to actually guide you and tell you, I don't think this is for you. The same thing happens in Santorini. It's a bucket list item. Everybody wants to go there. And then they say, I want to specifically stay in Ia, but I want privacy and I don't want any stairs. Those 3 things don't go together in the same sentence when we are talking about Ia. And it's our job to tell them, okay, I think this particular hotel or this particular town in Santorini will work better for you. You will still get IA, you will see it during a day trip, or we can take you there as many times as you want so that you can take your sunset photos. But you're not going to be fighting stairs. You're not going to be fighting selfie sticks 24 hours a day. And you're not going to be looking into another person's room. It's not the fault of Ia. This is its landscape. This is how the town was built. So this is something that you cannot avoid. It's aligning expectations with reality. And I'm seeing now that a lot of those travelers that you said with Airbnb, with I'll book the apartments first and then I'll figure out the rest, even if they do that for their accommodation, they are more and more reaching out to travel advisors to help them put together experiences that are really going to immerse them in a location and not just going to be something that they're going to tick off their to-do list, because they want that experience to feel like their own.
Yeah, and that's emerging trend with new generations. They want to like experience the place. They don't want to just live there. They want to like experience to the full extent. Yeah. With
They
regards to
do,
like,
and everybody wants to experience it differently.
yeah, yeah. With regards to like the future plans, like you mentioned that you already built a product which is like you had to right bets and like right vision, and you built a cross seasonal product which is like paying off right now. What are your next bets? Where do you see it moving, and what you're working on right now?
So what we're working on right now is we're working on extensions. So there are some natural extensions to our particular product that we are developing, but we are not, of course, putting it out there to the public yet, because it takes about 18 months to 2 years to build a DMC at a level where our other DMCs are right now. So we are starting with shore experiences. We're starting with pre and post, testing the product, introducing new people within those new destinations that are going to be announced within next year. That's one side of the coin. But another thing where we are concentrating is developing more small group and semi-private experiences in our existing destinations. Because what we're seeing with 4-star clients and clients that are, I'm not going to say lower budget, because that is such a derogatory term. Every budget is great. We just specialize in a specific budget. So when you are in a 4-star budget, sometimes you really cannot have everything private, but that doesn't mean that you should miss out on some experiences. So you want to add a cooking class or a wine tasting or a boat tour, and what we're trying to do now is have a very good and strong portfolio of small group or semi-private, so 8 to 12 people within that experience, so that you don't miss out. You still have an amazing time because it's not going to be a bus of people and you having to have whisperers in your ear. It's still small enough for you to really immerse yourself in whatever it is that you're doing. But budget-wise, it's not going to break a bank. So that is one thing that takes quite a bit of time in developing, because this size of group disappeared after COVID. We used to have it before
Yep.
2020. And then with all of the pent-up demand, everything turned down into just private or group because there were not enough guides. We couldn't get enough drivers. There were, a lot of elements that kind of pushed them off the scale, but we are now really trying to get them back in its full glory where they were. For the, again, Americas and Australia, what we are seeing as a trend, and we are working on it, is winter tourism in Europe in general. So skiing. We know the States have some of the best ski resorts, some of the
Yep.
best, not all of them.
Yep.
But what we are seeing is that price-wise and in terms of availability, they are kind of creating a challenge for the North American market. And what they're seeing now is that so many different ski resorts in Europe are accepting both the Epic and the Icon ski passes from the US, and the US clients are very, very interested in getting their ski experiences in Europe instead of doing it in the US. This is something that we are seeing an increase that is year over year over 150%. So it started as a very, very shy attempt about 4 years ago. But now that we are seeing it becoming a very, very strong segment. So anybody that is in this industry, and I'm not cutting the branch that I'm sitting on to say so, but it is an opportunity for anybody that really is doing a great job in winter offerings to look at these markets as the emerging markets and intensify their marketing efforts in getting the word out there that they are specializing in this particular branch of tourism.
These are awesome trends. Like, I'm hearing about them for the first time. So yeah, this is really great perspective
There's
from the
more
side of,
definitely coming up.
yeah.
I mean, if we want to talk about second cities or dupes, people want less crowds, but they don't want to lose the sense of the landscape. This is happening with the Amalfi Coast, with Lake Como, with Mykonos, or there are a lot of destinations within the Mediterranean and Western Europe where they are bucket list items, but the availability is very low. The price is just driving them off the market for a specific segment of travelers. And again, where local knowledge comes in, we can suggest smaller cities that provide the same sort of feel, but a lot easier on the wallet, on the budget, and also easier when it comes to battling the crowd. So in Italy, we're seeing the Northern Riviera really taking off. We're seeing Lake Maggiore, Lago di Garda kind of coming up instead of Lake Como. We're seeing smaller islands in Greece really finally coming up to their own, and they deserve it. This is Paros, Naxos, Tinos, and Syros even, not replacing, but getting their deserved slice of the cake. In Croatia, we're seeing Šibenik instead of Split, and Zadar and Istria in the north really taking over. So it's about finding alternatives. That is another trend that as a DMC we have to be aware of. We have to jump on it and really have the alternatives for absolutely every location. The second the advisors say, listen, they like the feel of Amalfi Coast, but they don't want the crowds. So where am I going to take them? We have to be the ones saying, okay, let's go down to Puglia. Let's go to Umbria instead, and have a specific location in mind with photos ready to go to wake up that the feel, the excitement of going to that place instead of their original destination where they wanted to go.
Yeah, and it basically solves two problems. First is like crowdedness, so they avoid crowds. Second is the budget. So like what you're saying, you're working on tour now on portfolio items for groups of 8 to 10 people. which is already budget reduction per person, and then going to dupes, as you call them, alternative destinations. It also reduces the budget, so it opens up for you an opportunity of working with lower budget customers, but on a greater scale probably.
Whether it's, scale is sometimes not the driving force. Of course, everybody wants to do better and do more every year. I mean, everybody's looking at the bottom line and the profits, but what it also means is opening up new opportunities, giving new locations the opportunity to grow, and relieving a little bit of the pressure from those locations that really are getting to a point where it's not sustainable to have as many travelers visit them a year as what we're seeing right now. All of the countries have so many beautiful spots that let's say it's our job to become the ambassador of finding the new destinations that are going to give the very best of the country while relieving some of that pressure that other parts of the country are already feeling. We hear the local communities, we hear the residents of larger cities that are really at that critical point right now that they've reached the amount of tourists that we're even questioning whether the sustainability has already gone out the window, or are they just at that level where living in a city like that will become unsustainable. So what we can do from our side is educate, provide alternatives, work with local communities to drive interest somewhere else. So everybody gets a piece of the cake, to say so, when we're looking at the profits, but also we are spreading the incoming tourism more equally, and we don't have those spots within the country that are just about ready to burst.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to summarize it. Like you are spreading it out around the community, the whole. And second, you're trying to work with seasonality. You're spreading out across the seasons. So like X amount of tourists, they're not coming in summer to see I don't know, Venezia or Venice, and but they are spread around like different cities and around different seasons. And yeah, that's more
And it
sustainable.
opens opportunities for other countries. I mean, let's say 5 years ago, Iceland wasn't really on top of anybody. I mean, a beautiful country and love it. But if you think about the general market, was it a trending destination? Not really. Now it is definitely a bucket list item, because if you're looking for a place to go in July and August where you're not going to be hot, it is definitely going to be Iceland, Nordic countries. It's just opening so many different opportunities for countries that did not get their place on the world stage yet. Exotic places are getting their 5 minutes of fame, and they're really taking these 5 minutes and using them in a very, very smart way to extend it so that it's not just, Andy Warhol's 15 minute of fame. They're really taking advantage of it and making sure that they don't leave the stage. So it's not just about giving them different opportunities within existing tourist destinations. Of course, this is our job, and this is how we keep the interest in making sure that people come to our countries for the second, third, or fourth time. But it's also a massive opportunity for smaller countries that still haven't had the opportunity to, get the bullhorn and yell out to the world, hey, we're here, we're amazing, come and see us.
Yeah, and the same Iceland, built like my company has built an inspirational platform like of different places around the globe where you can go and where you can experience something beautiful and interesting. And with regards to Iceland, we've seen that like there is a lot of interesting to see in Iceland over the winter. You do not need to come necessarily
Yes,
there over the summer. So, and this is a way to like spread
it's
spread
everything is
out
a
the
year
crowd.
round.
That's yeah.
Yes. And everything is year round. It's just about sitting down, determining what is the very best thing that you can offer in those months that you were never thinking about before. And it is massively about education without spreading the word and without being able to back up that the product that you have developed really is something that the clients and the general public is looking for. All of that work will be in vain. So it's a mixture of synergy of everybody getting together and determining where is your tourism going in the next 10 years. It is driving it in a sustainable way and also putting in the proper marketing and putting the word out there for everybody to hear what it is about this fantastic product that you've put together that is worth their time and worth their money.
Awesome. Danielle, like it's been already an hour and it was really
Yes, I
like
know.
for me it's like eye-opening discussion in certain points, because like it's from the other side of like travel industry, from the side of destinations, and like I really opened for myself few like couple of new things that you mentioned. So really thank you for this
How many new
discussion.
topics did you get out of this?
A couple. So at some point I started putting down the comments, because the notes, because I would forget because it was like, oh, this is new, this is new. Okay, so thanks a lot for this discussion. Before we wrap up, maybe if you have anything to add to.
First of all, thank you very much for giving us this platform and for letting us be the first DMC to kind of open your horizons as well, to see what it is that the other side of the industry is doing. And what I would just like to wrap everything up with is nobody in the industry should kind of be worried of where we are going next. Are we going to be erased because of the technology that is coming up? Just remember, when it comes to technology and all of the new developments in the travel industry, the inspiration is the one thing that is easy to scale. Let all of these new tools drive the new requests. Let's drive the inspiration, give easy access to the new destinations. But the one thing that will never scale easily without the human element is the execution of the final product. So just keep that in mind. Be proud of the product that you have, proudly present it and give it to the end clients. And I don't think anybody in the industry has to worry. If there's passion behind what it is that you do, it will always be recognized no matter how far the AI goes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for wrapping up, and thank you so much for coming. All the best luck for you.
Thank you very much, and same to you. I'm looking forward to next topics that have been kind of driven from this conversation.
For sure. Okay. Thanks, and bye.
Thank you.